Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
I'm not eating fast enough.
Okay. That's usually my job.
Talk, please.
Well, but you're not eating Cheetos. You're actually eating pizza. Although, I'm not quite sure how much pizza you're eating because given the amount of pizza sauce on your face, did you get any in?
I just realized I didn't have a napkin around here either. But, you know, I am dressed like an elf right now.
Yeah, explain the elf thing. Did you lose a bet?
So I better put the hat on.
Does it fit over the headphones?
Can you hear the ear?
Yeah.
I've been walking around. It's like my cowbell today. Everybody knows that I'm walking
more cowbell
through the office today.
Okay, so what is with the elf costume?
Well, it's answer
You
the
sure
phone.
you didn't lose a bet?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I don't see anybody else wearing an elf costume.
So National Day calendar. I'll just back up a little bit. So, and by the way, everybody, this is the Tech Ranch. Thanks for joining Steve over on the other side. I'm here, Marlo, and
the pizza sauce,
and the elf costume. And anyway, you know, we've always been kind of playing catch up with National Day calendar. I mean, it just emerged and became a thing, and then we kind of had no choice but to turn it into a business. So we've always been just kind of catching up. We're finally getting in front of things a little bit. So when we do some live events all the time, you know, I shouldn't say all the time, but often on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and whatever. But we almost always just do them. We don't announce it. You just open the live up and we're having a contest. We have an astronaut coming on or whatever. So we decided, and we've had a little fun the last couple of years with National Answer the Phone Like Buddy the Elf Day. So what we do is we answer the phone like Buddy the Elf. You know, Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? And then people will guess a color, and like yellow. And then we have a color wheel that we spin. And if the wheel lands on the color that you guessed, then you get the next prize. And we'll have like 100 prizes ready to go.
Nice.
And that's what we do. So the phone lines just go crazy in here, but we've never ever been in front of it. We always just kind of launch it. You know, we'll just say, hey, we're doing this right now, and whoever gets to see it gets to see it. This year we're doing some promotion in front of it. So I am dressed up as an elf today, doing some video work to promote and Answer the Phone Like Buddy the Elf Day.
Pizza eating elf. With
well, I only grabbed. Is there really pizza sauce on my face? Oh my goodness.
All right, who's taller though? You or Will Ferrell?
I don't know how tall Will Ferrell is. I think isn't he like 6'4"?
Yeah.
So it would be
fairly tall.
It would be close.
Who's taller on the radio?
Oh, well, I'm taller on the radio, of course.
How tall is Will Ferrell?
Is 6 feet 3 inches tall.
Oh, so we're about the same.
Yeah, you're about the same.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to who has the taller elf hat.
That's correct. Wow. There we go.
There you go.
Interesting.
See the amazing things people learn on this show?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I'm not sure. So that's December 18th, which is what, a week and a half away now?
Yeah, something like that.
So yeah, it's a week and a half away.
Where did December go? Actually, everybody was asking, where did November go?
Yeah.
Where did December go?
So December 18th, 2 to 4 p.m. Central. If you hop on National Day Calendar's Facebook page, you'll get our phone number. You'll be able to watch it live. And it's a lot of fun, everybody. I mean, people call in and guess, and people love this contest that we do every year. And we'll have some nice prizes. We'll have, you know, general prizes too. I mean, if you want to win a T-shirt or whatever, but we will have some other bigger prizes too. No cars or anything.
Aw.
I know. Not this year. Maybe next year.
You get a car.
And you get a
Yarbo. And you get a Yarbo.
Yarbo would
and you get a Yarbo.
Yarbo would be great. So
have you been snow.
You've been oh, look what I found.
Oh, there we go. And the pizza sauce is gone.
Oh, there was pizza sauce on my face.
I told you there was.
Yeah, but it's you. Why would I
Come on, I wouldn't.
Why would I believe you most? You're the guy that doesn't tell me my zipper is down until 18 minutes into a meeting with 18 people.
Well, then I didn't notice because I have no filter when it comes to, hey, your fly's down, or hey, your buttons are off, or I'll just tell people because I figure the embarrassment with just me versus the embarrassment with being out in public is better.
Yes.
So I will always
appreciate that.
tell. It's like, hey, your second of your 3 hairs are out of place. I have no problem telling somebody that.
Which is probably true right now since I've been wearing an elf hat all morning. I can't even go with the old fat and bald thing with the elf hat or with the elf outfit because I have a hat on, so the bald piece doesn't even come into play. Anyway, we are talking about tech today. Google.
I just thought you wanted to sit on Bob Newhart's lap.
Well, that would be a little tough now since he passed away a couple of years ago. He was one of my favorites.
He was amazing.
I loved the Bob Newhart show growing up.
Which one?
Well, there was, I think I liked there was the one where he was the psychiatrist.
Right.
And then, of course, there was the one where he was like.
Pre-Fraser Crane.
Right.
Yeah, basically is what it was.
That's true. I never thought about it that way. Yeah. And then, of course, when they moved into the lodge or whatever, and they had that little hotel with their brothers, Daryl and Daryl, that used to just crack me up.
My other brother, Daryl.
Yeah. This is my brother, Daryl, and my other brother, Daryl. And Larry was his name, right? Larry and his brother,
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl.
Yeah. Too funny.
But yeah, and then his previous show prior to the psychiatrist, Bob Newhart, was incredible talent.
Yeah. And of course of all of Will
and Papa Alpha, hello.
Yeah. All of his movies, I'm not really a big fan of Will Ferrell. I think he's just the same type of actor and everything, but he was certainly made for the movie Elf.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is by far the best work I think he's ever done.
Well, so Will Ferrell I put these 3 actors kind of in the same grouping. And you know how I am about movies.
Yep.
But Will Ferrell, Adam Sandler, and Carell.
Yes.
And they work in certain settings.
Yep.
They don't work in everything. And Adam later has gotten to be some serious roles.
But it's hard to see him in those roles,
it's
right?
It's hard, but now that he's older, he actually pulls it off. So I can see his growth as an actor. You're not going to see Will Ferrell playing a straight.
No.
And
Carell,
same thing. There are certain actors that whether they're pigeonholed by their roles or that's just who they are and that's where their talent lies and stay within your lane.
Right.
And those are the 3 I used to go, just stay within your lane and don't get too stupid with some of the comedy stuff. But Sandler's the one that I think has actually grown out of the way I had them kind of pigeonholed, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Into the roles that they always did. But yeah, he puts on a gray beard now. He'd probably be great as a coach or something.
Well, he played the basketball.
He did actually, yes. Yep.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And thanks for getting back to us, or joining us, I should say, on the Tech Ranch. I'm reading through. I sent Santa. You're right. I probably should have sent it to Elf, right?
Will Ferrell. He manages the human elves for Santa.
Because I'm auditioning for an elf for Santa. Santa gets back to me. This is very interesting. I may need some help this year. I'll need a current background check, a report from the motor vehicle department showing your record is clear, and 3 character references.
Ooh, pick me. Pick me. Pick me.
3, not 1, but 3. Wow. Thanks, Santa. That's what I'm going to say about that.
Well, with that whole Red One thing, he's got to be more careful now.
He does have to be more careful. I get that.
Yeah, there's some security issues.
References.
Good thing he's got the rock working.
Yeah. All right, Google. They want to break it up.
Well, first thing that popped in my head is, Baby Bells.
Yeah.
The whole Ma Bell breakup thing.
I can see where that's probably not so difficult to do because you could say, give it divisions or whatever. How do you break up Google?
Yeah.
I mean, you keep the search engine whole, but then you say that, all right, the division that does advertising has to be over here, and the AI division has to be in another
Well,
thing.
That makes things incredibly complicated. Okay, so I'm going to pose this a different way. And what we're talking about is there's been a proposal to break up Google because it's too big.
Right, which is actually Alphabet. I mean,
right.
If you want to, like Facebook is not Facebook anymore.
Yeah,
it's
Meta, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff underneath it.
Right, exactly.
Which, again, and that's exactly where I'm going. Okay, so if you want to break up Google, then shouldn't you have a conversation about breaking up Meta and breaking up Microsoft and breaking like
that is truly what's interesting about this, and you and I've had this conversation.
We're going to delay Skynet. We're going to break them up. We're going to delay Skynet.
It's like talking about TikTok, and the people who are for breaking up or getting rid of TikTok in the United States are its competition.
Yeah.
Google which is YouTube, right? And Facebook, Meta, Instagram, that whole scenario. I mean, they're all for getting rid of TikTok in this country because it's a security challenge that we have in here because of TikTok. Now, that may be true, but I find that the people who are making the case are the same people who also have, in my opinion, I have challenges with my privacy and my security with them too. They know way too much about me.
All right, before we get back to the Google, just because it's the holiday season, you talk about security, and I was just watching a piece on the news about Temu. Are you familiar with
that? Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have ordered a few things because
the Chinese.
Yeah. And
Amazon.
I've been curious about it, so I've ordered probably 8 or 10 different times.
And what you find is
because I want to be the human guinea pig for everybody else. Right?
And basically what I've found is a lot of the electronics, and this is what they were talking about, was like the electronic things, and you should probably avoid some of those because they're cheap.
They're very cheap.
They're very cheap. Stick to maybe clothing or wall art or things like that.
The other thing with that, though, is that Amazon is going to run its own competition to it.
Yeah.
Amazon itself is actually partnering with many of these same companies so that you can buy the same stuff on Amazon, and it will take 2 to 3 to 4 weeks for it to be delivered and all this other stuff, but you'll get it for very reasonable prices.
Won't last very long, but one of the examples was, so you're familiar with the Oura Ring, right?
Yeah.
It was all these different health things. And, that was one example. They had a product tester that had both of them and were one-on-one. And as far as the sleep patterns and all that stuff, it was all good. And when they did the update on the story, that one stopped working. The espresso machine was overheating. I wouldn't trust anything that was left plugged in, or I just wouldn't. The quality's not there.
I think the other thing, like with the Amazon thing too, that really bothers me and I know Amazon could just launch its own separate thing. I actually would be better in my mind. I would think that would be better. I don't like the fact that many of us nowadays are forced to have to put our products on Amazon to be, in that space, right? I mean, if you want to sell your widget, and I mean, everybody does it. Everybody who's anybody in this country has their own shopping cart on their website, but their products are also on Amazon now, right? You're almost forced to be there because so many people use Amazon. So now they're going to do a Temu or Temu type of template as well. And now you are actually competing directly with this Chinese scenario too. So if you make an LED flower, like I've ordered some of these LED flowers from Temu just to see what again, the quality is solar. They're beautiful. They're just wonderful. But
they
quality,
they
don't last very long. No. But if you get
what you pay for, basically.
You do. So if you were to be doing the same thing in the United States and you have a quality product now, and you're selling most of the stuff that you sell on Amazon, now Amazon's introduced your Chinese competitor to you direct straight up.
Well, and without the Chinese competitor, have you noticed that it's kind of like Google? So And I've gotten in the habit of when I Google something, don't look at the first couple. Just go down a little bit.
I'm the same way too, because the first ones are usually sponsored.
They're sponsored.
Yep.
You got to go down. And if you take a look at ordering something on Amazon and the first couple that pop up, probably not the ones you're going to buy. But as you go further down, you're seeing the cheap stuff and that's coming from a third party source. So you're starting to see some of that hey, that one's the cheaper one. So I'm going to buy that one. And it shows up as the same item, but it's not the same item.
That's correct. Yeah.
It's kind of where you can go buy a tool and a lot of the manufacturers will have a knockoff brand where it's not quite the same component. So we can sell it less because we're going to try to take that share of the market as well.
So do you always talk with your hands, even in radio world?
I do.
I do. Asking.
I do. I'm a hand talker.
I think I've been, not to really get off topic here, I think I've been trained from standing in front of a television camera in one place for so long. I guess I'm kind of doing it now. That
keep your hands in your pockets.
I don't use my hands as much as I used to. I find it interesting that it's just you and me in the room, doing our radio thing here.
Well, I do that in the radio,
and you're
by myself.
You're still talking to me with your hands. I think it's great.
It's part of my brain flow.
Yeah,
it's just
convincing.
It's not a crutch.
Convincing mode.
It's not a crutch, but it's how I
think a person articulates better. I've noticed that when I'm on television, actually, if I'm actually using my hands and I'm trying to be not in the camera, but if I'm using my hands, I speak better.
Because you're active.
That might be true.
You're active.
Never really thought about
blood
that
flow,
before.
No,
but all of that stuff.
The brain
right?
pumping.
Yeah.
And we're back. Don't miss a minute of the Tech Ranch as we explore the cutting edge of tech with Marlo and Steve. For more exclusive content, visit thetechranch.com.
So thanks for joining us again, everybody, on the Tech Ranch. Steve Bakken, Marlo Anderson here. We are talking about Google. I'm sure we'll go down another rabbit hole as we're talking about this, but that's okay.
I wonder if a Yarbo could dig up a rabbit hole, get rid of the rabbits.
I don't know. I don't know if
they should send us one, and we could find out.
So that would be the next iteration of a Yarbo, right?
Yeah.
You have, because right now the Yarbo, we're going down a rabbit hole. We haven't started yet.
We're going down a rabbit hole because of the rabbit hole.
Well, yes. It will mow your yard. It will
remove snow.
It will
blow leaves.
Have you seen the snow removal? It's both a blade and a snow thrower now.
Yeah.
So if you only get an inch or two of snow, it'll just push it off to the side. But if you get a little bit more, then you put the blower attachment on it and it blows all the way. Yeah, it moves your leaves. It takes your garbage out, right? So the next iteration should probably be
picking up dog poop in my yard.
Well, okay. So there's that, right? I'm sure they're probably thinking about
probably
that.
An attachment for a little
and then varmint control.
Yes. We can put little lasers on the top of it.
Let's get rid of those moles and those voles running around in the yard and all of those things.
Yeah.
Those voles, I tell you what, they dig up it's amazing how fast they can dig for such a little creature.
Oh yeah, well they're all claws.
It's unbelievable.
All claws.
I watched one actually go into the ground here about a month ago. I was in my backyard. And I came across it, and I swear in like 3 seconds it was underground already. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, they dig like Bugs Bunny, in the old Bugs Bunny commercials.
I didn't think that was possible until I seen that.
They move.
But, yeah. Anyway, Google. So they're going to try to break up Google. We're trying to determine.
I'm Googling how to get rid of voles right now.
Yeah. So the thing that Microsoft is making the argument for the breakup. Again, interesting that Microsoft is making this argument.
Who should probably be broke up themselves.
They were broke up in the 90s.
Right, but
they need it again, right?
Yeah.
But they're making the argument that because Google is so dominant in this space, that having both the information they've gathered on search engines about everybody, and now that they have AI, and the combination of putting them both together is too dangerous. And I'm thinking to myself, you, Microsoft, have been gathering information on the world forever as well, even longer than Google. And you yourself also have Copilot, your partners in OpenAI. You have all this stuff going on. So you want to just push Google out of the way.
See, that would be like you and I before he retired saying, you know what? We don't like Leo Laporte having more control of the market than us, so he should go away.
Yeah. He's just and it's not like there's. And I'm not trying to make the case that I love Google. I mean, I have a lot of problems with Google myself, but people had to physically choose to put Chrome on their computers. It wasn't like it came out from Microsoft or as part of the Microsoft operating system, Windows. It wasn't like it was a choice. You had the choice of putting whatever the Windows brand of Internet Explorer or Bing or whatever it was over the years. You had to actually go in and download Chrome, put it on your machine. I'm just using this as one thing. And even through all of that, they became the dominant browser.
So did you put Chrome on all your devices?
Yes.
Or did you stick with Google?
Or with Microsoft, you mean?
No, the old Google, because you can still get the old Google.
Well, you can.
You don't have to use Chrome.
That's correct. Yeah, I've always used Chrome.
See, I was a Google, and until there's some devices that don't support the old Google, the new devices, and like not very many of them. But it's like, okay,
what do you mean by the old?
Well, because you have to have Google, and then the old iteration of Google, which is still available, versus the Chrome iteration of Google. You can still get the old Google without, it's all the extra feature crap that I didn't like with the Chrome version.
You totally have me lost.
Really?
So, yes.
Yeah, you could.
Because Chrome is a browser.
Right, but
that just defaults to Chrome or to Google when you start it up.
Yeah, but you can get rid of, at least the last time I added it to a device, you could not do the Chrome version. You could just do the Google version. So what a lot of people didn't like was the features that came with the Chrome version. And I'm really one of those people that I hate change when it comes to my visual.
So were you not using Chrome as a browser then?
No, I was still using Google, but not Chrome, because they were both there.
Google had its own. Google has another browser, is what you're saying.
Well, it was Google, and then Chrome was the next generation of Google from a browser perspective, and it was a lot of the features I didn't like with Chrome.
I am still 100% lost, because you can go to Google from anything.
Right.
If you're on Microsoft
but you don't have to
product, you can just go to www.google.com.
I've still got devices. I don't have the Chrome iteration of Google. My phone I do, because I didn't have a choice. But I've got a couple tablets, a computer, a laptop. I don't have Chrome on. I have Google. I use Google, but it's not the Chrome version. So all the extensions that come with Chrome, depending on what you're using your device for, it gets a little complicated. But you don't have to have all the extensions that come with Google Chrome.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Chrome or Chromium, there's a lot of Chromium. I mean, there's so many iterations of Chrome. Chromium is more of an open source type of a browser. And you're right. I mean, Chrome, when you run Chrome, if you open up like Task Manager, you'd be stunned at how resource intensive Chrome is. So,
very much so.
If you have 4 or 5 or 8 windows of Chrome operating, which many people do. I mean, I always have something to Chrome probably.
Well, and that's what I noticed too. Because if you're using Chrome and you open up all these extra windows, most devices don't like that.
So
with Google, it was fine.
Are you sure that it was a Google thing, or is it a version of Chrome, like a Chromium, that was, like a stripped down version of Chrome? Because I've never heard of this before.
Well, it may have been a stripped down version, but it didn't say the Chrome.
It just said Google across the top.
Yeah, it was Google
and it was
still Google Chrome.
Still a browser.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. See, learn stuff on here all the time, even from the non-geeky.
Yeah, I'm not
Steve.
Geeky.
No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe a little.
But, yeah. No, it
depends on the space I'm occupying.
I'm going to actually check into that, because I know that, Chrome does use so many resources, and I've thought about moving to like a Chromium simply because of, again, all the extensions that are going on in there. A lot of it's security protocol going on in there. A lot of it's security protocol.
Well, and a lot of them are interchangeable, but they have separate functions.
Yeah.
I mean, so the 2 iterations have separate functions.
Well, I will check this out. This is very, very interesting. When we get back, we will actually talk about the breakup of Google.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
I'm eating again.
You know what's missing?
Your Cheetos.
I don't have Cheetos. So you get to eat today and I won't eat.
Yes.
So that's fair.
Sorry that everybody has
both of us are chewing on the air. That's probably not a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a good thing if we're, one of us are doing it actually. I guess, you have a lot more experience on radio than I do, but it's, I'm not as nervous being on the air anymore. Television, again, little different story, and you're not going to catch me eating on television because it wouldn't even be permitted. But here we are.
Not. Just be you, Marlo.
Yeah. I did a cooking segment not too long ago. That was for National Taco Day. That was fun.
Ooh.
8 tacos on the air. That was a good time. Yeah, so there you go. All right, Google. So the overview of the case, the U.S. government is seeking a partial breakup of Google, targeting its Chrome web browser and search business. This follows a landmark ruling that found Google violated U.S. antitrust laws by maintaining an illegal monopoly in search. So this is what they're doing. This is.
So why is that different from Microsoft or?
Well, this is the case. They are paying like Apple devices so that Chrome is the browser.
The default browser from the factory setting.
They'll pay Apple $1 billion a year, for an example, to have it on all Apple devices, right?
Okay.
As the default thing. I don't know if there's anything wrong with that, but they're just using this.
Apple doesn't think there's anything wrong with it.
Of course they don't, because they're making money on the deal, right? So it's just interesting. Microsoft probably thinks that there's something wrong with it because they're not sharing in the wealth.
Free market, pony up.
That's correct. If Microsoft came to Apple and said, we will pay you $2 billion to put Bing on all your devices as the default search engine, I'm sure Apple would.
How fast would Apple go? Well, okay.
That's correct. That's absolutely
And how many
correct.
people would be just PO'd?
Well, you still have the option to put whatever browser you want on there, so it's not like you can't do that. But
every now and then on the computer, I'll hit a wrong button or something. I'm like, what the heck is that browser?
But that's what the government is stating, is that they have used their dominance in search. Thank you. And have basically used that
Sounds
to
like
leverage,
a James Bond villain, doesn't it?
To leverage these other companies to say, well, if you're not going to accept this, then you're going to be against us, type of scenario. And good luck with that. So they basically are paying them, and search makes money. Most people don't realize that, but search makes a lot of money.
Well, and what's the easiest to think about is the advertising, because how many pop-ups do you get? But, the little scroll, it's part of it. But when you're paying $1 billion, say, to have that on, what's the trickle-down effect? Because if that device has to have Google or comes with Google, all those apps are going to build off of what that platform has. So if you have an app that has a search engine in it, guess what? They're probably going to use Google.
Yeah, there's
so the trickle down effect of, okay, Apple's got Google. Well, if you're building an app for an Apple, then you're probably going to build it with some component of Google.
And this is the other thing that is kind of, if they're going to outlaw this practice of Google doing this, and maybe they won't outlaw the practice, but I have a feeling that that's kind of part of this, right? What happens to all the, and I really want everybody to think about this. What happens to everything that we purchase now, as far as in the electronic space? Because do you like the fact that you can buy a computer at $499 on Black Friday and you're like, oh my goodness, look at this computer. It's just unbelievable. How can they make it for this?
Because it's loaded with all kinds of stuff they're getting subsidized.
That's correct. So they can't make it for that. But what happens is, this app says, we'll pay you $10 for every machine you put this on and you sell. Well, you take that times 30 or 50 or 100, all of a sudden the manufacturer of that computer is making an extra $300, $400, $500 on this machine, and they pass those savings on to you. This is how they can afford to sell these machines at this level. TVs are another great example. The price of televisions, the cost of manufacturing them have come down a lot. But what do you think is really elevated? When you buy a TV that's a streaming television, do you think the fact that Prime and Netflix are there, but Roku is not, is just by design?
See, on my
absolutely not.
I've got a Roku TV, and Netflix is on the buttons.
They pay for that
position. To be on the buttons.
They pay for the position too. Yes. It's not just that you can be
in the right button that my thumb hits.
Oh, you're talking about like on the remote itself.
The position itself on the remote.
Yes, but like Netflix and Prime are on a lot of remotes now, and they pay for that feature too.
So I have mid-continent cable.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Mid-continent remote.
Yeah.
Push that button and it takes you directly to Netflix.
Granted, they might not pass the entire savings along. They might, the remote feature might be $5 or $10 a piece to have the Prime button put on there. But if they even pass half of it along, and you take that again, and I'm talking about the apps that are on the television now. That's that row of apps. When you turn your television on, and there's Prime, Netflix, Apple, whatever there is for television, Peacock. All these things are on there now, right? They all pay to be in that opening line. You can go get any app you want to, but these are preloaded, ready to go, and paid for by these companies.
It's kind of like when you get a new phone and there's a whole bunch of crap on there that comes preloaded.
It's the same scenario.
By the way, speaking of Google, did you notice that Verizon has been running this deal that any condition, any phone, blah, 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 bring it in, we'll give you a free one.
I haven't seen that, no.
They're giving, but the phone they're giving away is if I brought in my Samsung or somebody brought in whatever, you get a Google Pixel phone.
Oh,
that's the free phone, the Google Pixel phone.
Well, I wonder what iteration it is of the Google Pixel, because I wouldn't actually mind having one to try it out. I hear
hand me your phone and a hammer.
Yeah.
And you can go get one for free.
I would love to try. I hear the photographs that are done on Pixels are absolutely amazing, but I don't know how to, the
ability to edit them is what's amazing.
The Samsung too, though. They all have it. Apple has an amazing camera too. Samsung, I think, has kind of led the pack, in the more popular phones over the last couple of years.
Because we have a mixed marriage. So I'm an Android. Yeah, my wife's
Apple.
Apple.
Yeah, and I'm the same way with some.
My phone is usually 2 to 3 generations of Apple ahead of her camera.
I see. Interesting.
Minimum 2.
Yeah. Samsung spends a lot of money. But
it takes Apple a while.
But I've heard the Google Pixel has an amazing sensors for their photos too. So anyway,
I'll find out. My mother-in-law got one.
Google is breaking up, and I guess they're going to fight it. Of course, I shouldn't say that they're going to break up, but they're going to fight it, and it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure in the appeals process, it will take many, many years before this is actually determined. But it's in the works. Everybody,
we may be dead by then.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Jen Silrum in the studio, and we were talking about podcasting, and the first part of this conversation was about what I use for like microphones, and I use the lavaliers. The DJI ones are the ones that I really like, by the way, at the labs. This has I think they cost a few $100. They're not cheap. I was introduced to these by somebody when I was at Brick Oven Bakery of all places.
Really?
This young lady came in and she had this amazing set of lavs. And I'm like, what is this? And here it's in this little case. And the case actually has, you charge up the case. And as they're sitting in the case, it charges the the two lavs, and it's two lavs too, and the sending and receiving unit, which plugs directly into your phone. So again, if you have an iPhone, or I know the new iPhones are USB-C too, but an older one has that adapter to it too. And you can see right on the sender receiver the levels. And there's so many other things. I haven't even played with it much yet, but there's so much that can be done with those. So those are really, really nice if you're looking at getting into some of those. But
still a couple $100 for considering what mics have.
Oh my goodness. I mean, the mic you're talking into right now is probably an $800 mic.
Of course.
So yeah, that's cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap for the kind of quality that you're getting out of that is just incredible. And portable.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's so portable. And I discovered that, I didn't know this until the other day, but they have magnets on them too. So like on a t-shirt, tough to clip onto, right? But I can put the magnet in the back of my shirt. Why are you laughing? Oh, I know why you're laughing. You can tell the story. Just realize this.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Marlo was using his portable mic system and clipped it on underneath his t-shirt with the magnet that was there, but also happened to get some chest hairs underneath that. And they pulled out when he took them off, and he was over there just in pain because of so.
Yeah. So my suggestion to anybody who has chest hair to be careful with the magnet part. Just it's a little painful when you pull them out accidentally. So anyway, you also want to host your program. So there's all kinds of places to host. My suggestion usually is that you want to build a website around your podcast, and then when you can write about the show that you did then, and then you can post it out to Facebook and things like that. And then part of that WordPress scenario in this podcast or in the website, because using a WordPress for a website here, there are some plugins like PowerPress by Blueberry, and you can actually then just from your WordPress upload your program, and then it goes into Blueberry, and from Blueberry it goes to Spotify and all of the Apple podcasts and all of the others. There's like 20, 25 of them that are out there for these platforms. And then you get this one-to-many scenario, so you don't have to individually go out and drop them into all these different places. It just does it for you through an RSS feed, and it's wonderful in that regard. So it can be, it's still a little work. I think with AI, that's really helped a lot, because I'll drop the transcript from the show, like the Absurdist, for example, into ChatGPT, and then I'll have it write a summary of the show, because I never know what we're going to talk about. There's no script to the Absurdist. We're just being absurd, And but it allows you to write pretty quickly about that, and then you can post it up there. It'll even create images for you and all that stuff right in AI. So it really, really simplifies that process.
Haven't you said though that you've encountered some difficulties in getting your to Spotify?
Yeah,
there's services like that.
There are some challenges. I mean, you don't automatically get on those platforms. They do their due diligence with you as well. So, they have to maintain their, whatever you want to call it in the industry. So they don't want to have everybody that's got a bad podcast on their platforms as well. So they're really careful about that. But once you get on there, then you're on there, So, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it's good. So yeah, if you have any other questions on that, anybody, feel free to reach out to us at thetechranch.com, and we're happy to help. Even Jim would be happy to be on your show. He loves this.
Yes, I do.
Bringing his two fans along.
Supertalk 1270.
Welcome to December 7th on the National Day calendar. Today, we're taking a moment to reflect on a significant event in U.S. history and recognizing the ongoing fight for equality and justice for all.
This just in, National Popcorn Day, the only book you'll ever need about popcorn. Learn the buttery truth about the history of popcorn, featuring King Cornelius Colonel. Read some eye-popping facts and get ready for some corny jokes. It's National Popcorn Day from your friends at National Day Calendar. Available right now on Amazon.
December 7th, 1941 is a date that, in the words of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, will live in infamy. On this day, the United States Naval Base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, was attacked by the Japanese, marking the United States' entry into World War II. On Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, we honor the courage and sacrifice of those who lost their lives in this tragic event. We remember their bravery, their service, and the impact their loss had on our nation.
And we did lose a lot of people that day. It was about 2,300, if I remember right.
That is just so sad.
It is. And of course, the entry into World War II changed the lives of many people in this country at that time, and still does, actually.
Absolutely.
In a different vein, December also marks National Human Rights Month. This is a time to reflect on the fundamental rights and freedoms every person should enjoy, regardless of their race, religion, gender, or nationality. It's a time to celebrate our progress, but also to acknowledge that work still needs to be done. The fight for equality, justice, and human dignity continues, and it's up to each of us to stand up for these basic human rights. During National Human Rights Month, let's commit to promoting understanding, compassion, and justice in our communities and around the world.
You know, if everyone just treats other people the right way.
Yeah, the world would be a much better place, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just a matter of treating people with respect and dignity, and we will all smile more often if we did that.
Absolutely, we would. I'm Alice Anderson.
I'm Marlo Anderson.
Thank you for joining us on our journey to celebrate every day.
And join us for all of our adventures on Facebook and Instagram at Destination Celebration Show. Until next time, keep celebrating.
This is the Pet Minute. I'm Steve Dale with animal news from around the world. Next, your dog loves going to the dog park and seeing his buddies. Maybe sometimes when you travel, he gets to hang out with friends at his favorite boarding facility. Social dogs like yours need more protection than most. By pairing Bordetella Protection, also known as kennel cough, with immunity against canine influenza, we can help ensure these dogs stay healthy. Merck Animal Health wants you to talk with your veterinarian about pairing up for protection with vaccines for your dog for kennel cough and the canine influenza virus. Don't wait. Vaccinate. At 54.6 decibels, Bella is only a notch quieter than most vacuums. No surprise to her owner in Cambridgeshire, England. This 14-year-old cat just smashed the Guinness World Record for the loudest purr. Her owner, Nicole Spink, says when Bella purrs, which is all the time, she actually has to turn up the volume on the TV. That's one happy cat. For the Pet Minute, I'm Steve Dale.
Supertalk 1270. KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a town square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union studio.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. A senior Biden administration official telling ABC News there is a very good chance Syria could fall very soon. The front line is collapsing. That official saying it could be as soon as tomorrow as rebels approach the capital, Damascus.
The question is, what happens next? We know that the Middle East is in turmoil right now. So if Bashar al-Assad falls, what happens next? And I think a lot of people will want to know the answer to that.
ABC's Lama Hassan in London. President-elect Donald Trump has weighed in, suggesting the United States should not get involved with the situation in Syria. In Paris, a heavenly choir filling the newly rebuilt Notre Dame Cathedral with music. A ceremony marking the cathedral's restoration attended by dignitaries from around the world, including Mr. Trump and First Lady Jill Biden. The FBI joining the nationwide manhunt for the suspect behind the assassination of the United Healthcare CEO. This is ABC News. Health officials are urging consumers to stop drinking raw milk after bird flu was found in some products. Now the Department of Agriculture plans to test raw milk samples nationwide. ABC's Steve Osunsami's in Atlanta, the home of the CDC, with the latest.
So far, about 60 people have gotten sick from bird flu, but almost all of the cases have been farm workers handling sick livestock. Officials say they don't know of any person who has spread it to another human. What authorities are concerned about is the potential for the disease to spread to consumers who drink raw, unpasteurized milk. In the last few weeks, farms in California have shut down and started recalling some of their raw milk and cream products after farm officials found the bird flu virus in samples of their products.
California's Public Utilities Commission has approved a new rule that for hired drivers who transport unaccompanied minors, they'll have to pass fingerprint-based background checks in addition to other security checks that their company might mandate. It impacts Uber programs designed to transport teenagers around. Dave Packer, ABC News.
This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. Over the past 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star and give the ultimate Christmas gift. The star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333 to give the brightest gift. That's 800-282-3333.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. For today, mostly sunny, a little breezy, highs in the upper 40s. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 27. Cloudy skies with rain likely around midday Sunday. We'll have a high around 44. Chance of rain and snow Sunday night with a low near 22, and it will be quite windy. For the best barbecue sauce around, try Grandpa's original secret recipe, grandpa'sbbqshop.com.
Currently 46 degrees.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. Right now, college football championship Saturday, third quarter scores, Big 12 title game at Arlington, Arizona State adding on moments ago for a 31-10 bulge on Iowa State. Mid-American Championship in Detroit, Ohio all over Miami of Ohio 28-3. Reported baseball free agent signings. Shane Bieber stays a Guardian, 1 year, $14 million. Fellow pitcher Clay Holmes joins the Mets, 3 years, $38 million for the former Yankee. College basketball first half, Marquette 20, Wisconsin 19, Virginia Tech leads Pitt 13-7. NBA second quarter, Cavaliers up 49-41 at Charlotte. NHL, Rangers trade their captain, defenseman Jacob Trouba, to the Ducks for a package including defenseman Euro Vakanainen. Trouba's desire to remain in New York, where his wife is completing a medical residency, becoming public after hurting New York's trade options, which he says is unfortunate.
I obviously knew this day would eventually come. More control now, really. I think I'm happy with the result and where I ended up going. There's no crystal ball to predict, but in the moment when I had the choice to stay with my wife and son as long as I could, or move somewhere while they stayed in New York, I was going to take the chance to stay with my family.
And ESPN says the Rangers' Igor Shesterkin has an 8-year, $92 million extension. That the richest goalie deal ever. Second period, Flyers up 2-0 at Boston. Sabres won Utah 0. NFL tomorrow. Falcons visit Minnesota. Justin Jefferson's Vikings winning 5 straight. And Jefferson knows his ex-teammate Kirk Cousins has found success with Atlanta, while new quarterback Sam Darnold has helped Minnesota.
It worked out both ways. I feel like, just seeing it on my side.
Joey Waller, ABC Sports.
Holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a crazy, stressful time of year. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers, with 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers and give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com/.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to GetCash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. GetCash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com.
It's all about the pets. Steve Dale's Pet World. Saturday afternoon at 4 on Super Talk 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
So have you been seeing this thing about Australia outlawing social media to anybody under 16 years old?
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
That's a great idea. Not electronic devices, so if you're still utilizing as a babysitter, a tablet or games and things like that with your kids, that's not what they're outlawing. It's just the access to social media.
Right. I think it's interesting, too. I think our kids spend way too much time on screens. Way too much time.
My wife does.
Well, I do too. I mean, I think we all probably do. I get tired of it.
So she yells at me for having the TV remote in my hand.
Right.
She calls it my pacifier. And I'm like, really? Because she's got her own pacifier because she never puts down her phone.
Wow.
Like,
I make efforts to not. In fact, I forget it sometimes on purpose, I think.
You and I had this conversation. I walk out of the house all the time. Subconsciously, I don't want to be connected to my phone.
I walk out of my house.
I walk out of the house without it all the time. It's like, you're late for a meeting.
Yeah.
Well, I had to go back and get my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've driven down the street. I've done all this stuff. And then you realize, then you make the argument. Can I get through the next hour or two without my phone? And the phone always wins. You're like, I suppose I better get it.
No,
somebody might call me or something,
I've done that, though. It's as long as my voicemail is cleaned out enough to where people can leave me a voicemail. But my calendar's on there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All the phone numbers. So like if I'm going to the radio station for an interview, usually I have to call somebody. They're in my phone.
It's your notes. It's everything.
Yeah, it's the notepad. I'm like, where's the shopping list I'm supposed to go pick up? I got to go see these clients. It's all on the phone. How many times have you walked out of the house, though, and got down the street a little bit and go, oh, crap, I forgot my phone. Screw it.
I have done that.
I've done that, too. And you know what? It's a good day.
I'm going to coffee or something.
It's a good day, Marlo.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as you make sure there's a credit, because I use mine as my wallet, too, so I got to make sure I have a credit card in my pocket.
Well, so the Australia thing, so, we're going to talk about how it gets enforced if they pass it, but the federal government's proposed social media ban for under 16s has been unveiled in the parliament. $50 million in fines for big tech companies which don't comply. That's an amazing
define compliance.
If kids, that's your question, but my guess would be that if you haven't figured out a way to stop giving 16-year-olds and under access to your social media.
So they lie about an age.
So, but then the onus is on them, right? And this is
because that's going to happen.
So this is what I am actually, I would not normally be for this, but I'm going to tell you why I am for this. Well, two reasons. I think kids spend too little time or too much time on there. The other thing though is there are so many fake accounts in social media. It's unbelievable. And I get tired of it. I get tired of Steve Bakken sending me a note saying, hey, do you want to be friends? Well, Steve, I'm already a friend with you. And then you go look at it and you're like, oh my goodness, somebody cloned your account.
Oh, wait a minute. There's 1, 2 people. Yeah, no.
So this is what I think one of the easiest things they could do is require all social media people, or if you're going to be on social media, to identify yourself. You have to scan or use a system like Clear.
So verified.
So you have to verify. You have to provide a driver's license, and
you get a blue check, and you get a blue check.
That's but you're right on the money, right? Once you're verified, then anybody if Steve Bakken reaches out to me and it's not verified, I already know right away that is a fake account. And I don't know how you got past the verification part of it, but obviously you're a fake account, so I'm not even going to say boo to you anymore. So I think that in itself would dramatically clean up social media.
So you got me thinking now, at what point, because this will happen at some point, and when I say fake accounts, I'm going to say people deceased and just dead accounts.
Yes.
So, and fake account, dead account, not a real account, somebody who's passed away. At what point do we hit there's more of those than real legitimate accounts?
That's interesting.
Or are we there now?
Yeah, I would say we're already there. There are so many fake accounts on social media, and it happens. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times this happened to me. I'm fighting this scenario all the time. I have an okay following online, and people are always, I get people that'll send me notes all the time saying, "Hey, somebody is asking me to, friend you. I thought we were already friends."
So does it upset you have more followers on the fake accounts than the real Marlo Anderson? Does that bother you at all?
That is funny. It's interesting. It is interesting you bring that up though, because have you noticed this, like with celebrities and stuff? They put at real George Clooney or at real whatever because of all the fakery that's out there, that they are actually using the word real now. So people
So the fake person starts using real and.
Well, I've seen that happen too. And of course people then are like, oh, this is the real George Clooney then or whatever. So yeah, I truly believe that verifying people with some type of ID would be the right way to go. And it's not like social media like Facebook and Instagram and X and all these. They know so much about you already. They already know who you are. Right? I mean, they really do. They know more about you than you probably know about yourself.
And because
your likes and things like that.
Everybody out there, when they were first getting into social media, when it was in its infancy, or some people just got on a little bit later, nobody was thinking about security protocols. You put it all out there.
And
here's all your information. Here's your birthday. Here's this. Here's this.
That's correct.
It's like where you live.
But
everybody put it all out there.
And the thing is that even if you didn't do that, although I think it's required, but if you didn't do that, they would still figure it out, because people would start sending you messages. Hey, happy birthday, Steve. They figure it out. I mean, the software that they have in these things are so smart. And you know what the biggest thing is? The like button.
Oh, really?
The amount of information that is derived from the things that you like, or the things that you think are funny.
So you shouldn't like anything.
Is what builds your personality profile with these companies.
But that's how they also generate revenue.
That's correct. So they are like, oh, Marlo likes honey because he just checked the thing about some type of organic honey that somebody posted out there. So the next thing you know, I'm getting ads about organic honey. This is how it works. And they build that profile around that. So
what was really upsetting to me is I got this friend request from Taylor Swift. I'm like, wait a minute, we're already friends. I had to text her and go, hey, did I get...
Yeah. Did she respond to your text?
She did.
Wow.
Yeah. I got her mom's phone number too. Friends with Taylor's mom. I'm not sure if I'll get invited to the wedding, friends, but
probably more impressive actually.
She likes Woodman's chocolate.
Yeah.
She really does.
Is she getting married?
No.
Oh.
Heck no.
I mean, I don't know what's going on in Taylor's life.
Travis Kelce.
But maybe they're getting married. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Thanks for staying with us on the Tech Ranch. Let's rejoin Marlo and Steve as they guide us through the fascinating world of technology.
Welcome back, everybody. Nick Ressler is in the house for the Tech Ranch. Longtime friend of the program. Probably hasn't been on for a year or two, though, so it's great to have him back on the show. He is an automotive expert, and your expertise really lies in body work.
Auto body and painting.
Yeah. So
Warsaw painting.
So you're great to be talking about to about this situation that I think we're probably going to see here pretty shortly with some vehicles that are going to be coming into the upper Midwest because they want to move these vehicles out of the flood areas of the current hurricanes and try to offload them up here. So anyway, so we were just talking, and if you're just joining us, you can catch us on the podcast or whatever for the earlier parts of this conversation. But Nick, so we were just talking about, some of these newer cars now don't have as much metal on them, right? I mean, they're basically plastic of some kind or carbon fiber or whatever. Do they survive this weather? Like if they were submerged in water for a period of time, are they better? Are they worse than a typical metal-made car? Or,
well, the thing of it is, what you got to think about is when the car gets submerged, most of the newer vehicles are galvanized.
Okay,
and they're coated, and you're not so worried about like the floor pan of a vehicle that's in the flood. What you're worried about is the electrical.
Okay.
That gets in there. Now, all the electrical wires are coated, so there's no problem there. It's where they connect.
Okay.
The connectors at some point there's gonna be a place that can get exposed. And any kind of rust or things that go on in there, in some of your relays and your signal devices will start to rust, and you'll see weird things. Step on the brake and the windshield wipers come on. Because it shorts out. And you go, what is going on with my car?
So you're saying basically that if, you could buy a car, let's say 6 or 8 months after it's been in water, and then 2 years later, let's say you pick up a 2023 Tesla, okay? 2 years later, you step on the brakes, and all of a sudden the windshield wipers start activating. Because this is like a ticking time bomb, isn't it? It just will continue to rust and corrode and all this stuff. Okay. So finding the history is really important. And, I mean, is it possible, like in a Carfax situation, that it wouldn't be reported that it was in a flood?
Oh, the scenario would be that if I owned a car and I had insurance on it, and let's say my insurance lapsed, or I didn't put insurance on it because I wasn't using it, I parked it.
Okay.
And now it got flooded. And I decide I'm going to dump this car. Well, Carfax doesn't know that it's been in a flood.
Right.
So I sell it off, or maybe you got a huge fleet of vehicles, and the fleet owner of the vehicles couldn't afford to insure all these cars, so he just got liability on it.
Okay.
He's not going to put a claim on it because that's liability. It won't be covered.
Gotcha.
So these vehicles could end up being shipped out and sold, and you go to Carfax, and odds are there won't be the car VIN number might show up, but it's not going to show the history, So, like, say, if you file a claim and the car has been in a flood, then when you go to Carfax, it's going to show that the insurance company paid that claim and that it was water damage.
And it's Carfax, Carfax, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and is there a fee, like for you and I to go check like a VIN number or something?
I guess I didn't look at that. I think to check a VIN number, you just put it in, and then I think they try to upsell you.
I see.
But if you Google it, it'll tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an opportunity, so if, let's say I do settle for insurance, I have a 2024 Tesla. I don't mean to pick on Teslas, but there's a reason, and I'll get to it in a little bit. And I get and they total the car. I get my insurance check. Is there like a time frame? I mean, is there like a 2-week window where it wouldn't be reported to Carfax, for example, because there's paperwork that has to be processed and things too? So you could actually settle with the insurance company, hurry up and get it on the market, sell it to somebody for half its value or something, and then walk away from it. I mean, is that possible?
Well, it depends on the claim. If the insurance company, in most cases, if these are submerged in water, completely submerged, they're total.
Right.
So your chances of buying that car back are zero.
I see. So what you're saying is that if they came back and said, that we'll give you $3,000 for the car because the wheels were submerged and there's going to be some, we got to replace the brake stuff, right? The discs and things like that. Okay. Interesting. So let's get to Tesla and other EVs. And I shouldn't just put Tesla out there, but everybody knows Teslas, right? And, but other companies, of course, like Kia and Subaru and some of these other vehicles have EVs that are out there now, electric vehicles. And lithium and salt water do not play well with each other either. So I'm going to guess it's possible that the car could be somewhat submerged. The battery sits pretty low on these cars, right? So you could have it in a foot of water, and the battery, some of the battery, or maybe 2 feet of water or whatever it is, right? Some of the battery could be in that salt water, but not the entire car. And then you come back and you look at it and you go, well, I guess it works okay, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, salt water and lithium do not go well together. And you've seen probably some of the footage of some of these houses that have burned down and businesses that have burned down because the car that's in the garage catches on fire or blows up or whatever.
Yeah.
I also believe that that's a ticking time bomb as well, because I think people who realize that are going to dump these cars because they've been sitting in water for a little bit and they don't want to deal with the 6 months or a year from now when that battery decides it's going to give way to that little bit of salt that got into it. So I don't know. I think if you're looking at buying a used EV and it's coming from an area that had hurricanes and stuff, I don't think I'd do that. I would just,
right.
Yeah, I think I'd stick to something that's a little closer if you're looking in the used market.
And if it wasn't turned into insurance for a claim,
exactly,
it's not going to be a record.
Right. So that is what's really scary about this. And I just think that there'll be a lot of that going on. I mean, areas in Florida, California, I mean, there are so many people that drive EVs in those areas because it's convenient. They have easy charging. They're only whipping around town a little bit. So it's very, very easy. So anyway, we'll continue the conversation after the break. We'll continue about what to do with flooded cars and whether you should buy them or not. Stay tuned, everybody.
You're listening to The Tech Ranch, where technology comes alive. Let's dive back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve. And don't forget to check out thetechranch.com for more.
Welcome back, everybody. Mr. Nick Ressler, longtime friend of the Tech Ranch, is in studio. We've been talking about the hurricanes and potential cars coming to the Midwest. Are there any last thoughts you have on that, Nick?
Here's a side note. Remember Cash for Clunkers?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that still around?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. It was that was a program by the government, right? That they gave so much money to get rid of these older cars. Yeah.
And those cars all got scrapped. Carfax shows that there were 700,000 cars turned into that program.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And the reason they turned them into Carfax is because the salvage yards, some of these cars still ran.
I see.
And they didn't want them to resell them. So
right.
Once they were in Carfax, they had to be crushed.
Gotcha.
And they had to show proof that they were.
How much did they get per car? Do you remember what that was?
I don't. It was pretty good.
It wasn't a terrible deal. And I think if you had a vehicle laying on because didn't they come pick them up for you in the whole bit?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I guess
700,000 they get off.
Cleaned up a lot of yards, that's for sure.
Depending on who the politician was running, they got rid of the bumper stickers.
That's funny. That's funny. All right. Well, I know you have some other things you want to chat about. How's the computer world for you? Are you do you play as much on your computer anymore, or have you moved to your smartphone?
Actually, with the computer, I'm also in charge of the honor guard.
Right.
So I track everything. And I keep a database and I email out and use it for that. And then I play solitaire or free cell. Other than that, hey, look up stuff.
Yeah.
Smartphone, more and more. A tablet, less and less. I used to use an iPad quite a bit.
Well, it's because the phone is about as big as the tablet used to be, I can't believe that we carry these. I remember one time you and I talking about the size of these things and like, how are you supposed to carry this thing in your pocket or whatever? Now they just adjusted the clothes. The new jeans now have bigger pockets. Have you noticed this? Yeah. So that you can carry them in your back pocket now. I thought that was hilarious because I have older jeans that I love and I still wear them occasionally. And I'm like, why doesn't my phone fit back here? Yeah. It's because the new fashion has bigger pockets. So yeah, everybody's adjusting.
Yeah. And you know, when you look at all the apps, the things that are available, and depending on what you want to use it for, but what I think was really God sent is the GPS.
Yeah.
When you're traveling.
Yeah.
Remember years ago when we have a Garmin? Most people,
or Maps.
Or Map.
Remember Maps?
Yeah. And you had to update it and all that. And now you just, hey, Google, tell me how to get to so-and-so, and it comes up.
I always talk about the, see, you said blog Google and activated Google. Look at that. Yeah. Always listening.
I was talking on the phone to somebody, had him on speakerphone, or I was on my computer. And for some reason on the computer, it said, you know, it was telling me a shortcut.
Right.
And Google said, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
My phone picked it up.
Yep. I have that happen a lot too. And in fact, my phone actually was playing a tutorial about how to use Google and said blog Google. Yeah. And this playing on my phone. And then Google activates on my phone at the same time. I'm like, no. Don't listen to what's going on there. It was kind of hilarious, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're always listening, and we have more and more devices. I just ordered 4 more the other day. It was an Amazon Prime Day, but it was great Prime, or if you were great deals on Prime or something like that. So I ordered some of the new Alexas. I'm not sure if my mom listens to this program or not. So it's going to be a little bit of a surprise for her. She's going to get some upgraded equipment in her house now. So yeah, I got speaking of apps and stuff, right? So the ease of, like, she doesn't have like security around her house or anything like this. So I thought, having like a doorbell with a camera in it.
Yep.
This is not the Ring one though. It was the Amazon Alexa version of Ring. And then I bought her the screen version of Alexa too. So now she can just, if somebody rings the doorbell, she'll be able to see right on that screen, right by where she sits down at, that who's at the door or whatever, which is, I think, and easy to set up and reasonable. I mean, the doorbell was like $22.
Yeah.
Crazy how reasonable that is.
How does it power?
So I think there is a battery in it.
Okay.
So I'm hoping there's a battery in it. It said wired and wireless. So I'm assuming that if you have a wired doorbell, which means that you have some power that goes to it, that you can utilize that. But wireless obviously means, at least I took it that way, that it could be battery operated as well. Yep. But I suppose it'll be interesting to see how often you have to change the battery in the thing.
One thing I found with the smartphone, and I bet the number would be astronomical. How many arguments or questions are settled? Hey, Google, who was that picture that...
Yeah, it's already activating over here.
Yeah,
there you go.
I mean, I have lunch, my brother and a couple of friends at the senior center, and a day doesn't go by that a question comes up, who won the Vikings game? Or
right.
How much did that quarterback get?
Yeah.
And you just pop it up, and there it is.
There's a couple guys in my coffee group. Yes, I'm old enough now, Nick. I have a coffee group. I cannot believe this. I'm still the young guy there, but I have joined a coffee group, and there's a couple of them in their 70s, and they're the first ones. They got their phone ready to go for anything that comes along. They're like immediately looking things up. What I have really noticed about that is I don't see as many couples fighting when we go out to dinner anymore either. In fact, they just sit there quietly now. I mean, what do you talk about when you can't say, hey, look what I found out today, and the other person can't even debate it because you can just look it up right away and find out if it's right or wrong, and that's it. Then what else do you talk about? It's a conversation stopper. Actually.
Yeah, also, and this, you get young young people together. If 4 of my grandsons and granddaughters get together, they're sitting there on their phone texting each other instead of talking to each other.
Yeah.
Just crazy.
Yeah. And then, I know we're going to run out of time here again in this segment, but we'll have you back for the next one. AI, of course. Have you been playing with AI at all?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you, ChatGPT, is that your normal go-to or okay?
And then, I think Microsoft came out with an app that goes on the browser.
Yep. So there's quite a few, that are emerging, of course. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the Microsoft one. I just started playing with it too, but everybody talks about it all the time. So, it's something. So anyway, after the break, everybody, we will continue with Nick and we'll get into AI a little bit and, how he uses it.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. We're thrilled to have you with us as we continue exploring living with technology alongside Marlo and Steve.
And welcome back to the Tech Ranch, everybody. This is your guru of geek, Marlo Anderson, and across from me in studio, Mr. Nick Wrestler. Did we ever have a nickname for you other than Scam Buster? You remember the days?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Scam Buster.
You have to.
All the scams.
So there's 2 stories before we get into AI that you need to share with people. And this one goes back probably 20 years now. But the Doofus McGinney and real estate story.
Oh, geez, that's been so long.
Do you remember most of it or?
Oh, kind of.
All right.
Yeah.
So do your best.
Okay. We had an office in the Gallup front.
Heather, I think it was. Yeah.
Yep. And she says, we have a Doofus McGinney working here. And
which was my alter ego. Yeah. It's my alter ego online. Yeah.
And well, tell them about the post office.
Well, so it goes back to like the early 90s and I realized right away that email was going to be used for spam a lot. So if I knew, and it wasn't even called spam at that time, but for marketing, right? And if I wanted to sign up for something and didn't want to use my real name, I had this made up alias of Doofus McGinney. And yeah, I mean, one day we, went to the post office and and when I signed up, it was always our address for our business. And I went to the post office. Was that you that went to the post office or was that me?
You.
Okay. Anyway, the postmaster said, "Hey, you guys got any new employees down there?" And I'm like, "No, I don't think so." Well, we're getting a lot of mail for Doofus McGinney, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's we have." So anyway, Doofus. Oh my goodness, you got credit card offers. Did he get like a penthouse subscription or some crazy thing too? I mean, this is a made up person and getting better mail than you and I got, So it was interesting.
One packet. Discounts on tools.
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So, and because of that, we started getting these phone calls for Doofus McGinney as well. And that's what leads to this story.
Yeah. So I told her, punch it back to me and answered it. And I says, hello. And he says, Mr. McGinney. And I couldn't resist it. I said, no, don't call me Mr. McGinney. Call me Doofus. And I had a tough time not laughing. He says, all right, Mr. Doofus. He says, are you interested in steaks or something?
No, it was real estate.
Real estate.
Yeah.
And I said, what kind of steaks? And he went, no, Mr. Doofus or Mr. McGinney. And I said, I told you, call me Doofus. And that kind of riled him. And he said, this is about real estate. And I said, well, what kind of steaks are they? And I did that a couple of times. And finally he said, are you at all interested in this? And I said, no, I'm not really interested. He says, why not? And I said, because I don't like steaks. And he went, oh, and he slammed down the phone. Now you got to picture this guy. He's sitting in a cubicle and there's probably 4 others. And they look at him, what? And he said, that had to be the dumbest person I ever talked to. What was his name? Doofus McGinney.
And to this day, it lives on as training material for all scam artists in the world, right?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's
now
funny.
Speaking about scams, when you think about, here's what people have to realize. There's two things that will motivate a scammer: fear and profit. So if they call you and they threaten you to be arrested or what, that's a fear factor.
Right.
Hang up on them.
Yep.
If they're calling you and tell you that you just won the European lottery, hang up on them. Just remember those two things, fear and profit. Somebody calls you and they're threatening you or they're going to reward you. It's a scam.
You know, one of the biggest things nowadays is speaking of AI, the ability to clone somebody's voice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we have it here. I mean, you know, Chris, we both Chris and I have AI voices. And in case I mispronounce a word when we're recording something in the studio for one of our shows or whatever, instead of having me go back in and re-record it, especially if I'm traveling or whatever, you can just use my AI voice to fix it. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yeah, and of course, we could even go further than that and actually probably have it do a whole script or whatever. It's not quite the same yet, but it's pretty close. And I'm sure we haven't trained it now for probably 6 months or a year, and I'm sure that it's significantly better. But this is the thing. So anybody can take a voice sample of anybody. So if you get a phone call and it's like, hey, grandpa, it's blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, my goodness, this sounds like my grandson or my granddaughter. And they can do a couple things. They can type it in real quick and it'll spit it out. Or there's voice modulators as well. So as you're saying it, there's somebody on the other side that could even have a different type of accent or whatever. It might be European, it might be Asian accent or whatever. But when they say those words, it comes out as the person that they're emulating. Isn't that crazy? So almost in real time, they can say, you know, Grandpa, I'm in jail. And you think it's your grandson.
I can tell you what happened to my wife.
Oh, okay.
Got a call, and the person said, this is police department, so-and-so, and we have your grandson here. He was pulled over for an open container. He was driving radically. He had an open container. And she goes, what? And he says, you want to talk to him? And, come on, Grandma, I need help. I need some money. And then she hung up. And she come out and she said, I just got the dumbest call. And she told me about it. And I said, well, first off, it's your grandson, they said, got pulled over. Your oldest grandson is 12. We don't have a grandson that drives.
Right.
Why didn't you hang up right away?
Right.
She said, well, it sounded so real.
Right. Yeah, imagine. And so probably the best thing that a family can do right now is to create a safe word. And whatever that word is, and you can just ask straight up.
Good idea.
You know, and you just let everybody know, and I'm just looking at a light right now. So our safe word, Nick, and yours and my family is light. So when I ask you, you know, if it's Heather, for example, right? I just Heather, what's our safe word? And if they don't answer that, you're just done.
Great idea.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna put that out.
Yeah. So it's a great way to eliminate these calls that are emulating voices, and they sound so real.
Oh yeah.
And when you're in my age, I mean, you know, you're talking about, you know, that you have a little bit of a hearing issue. I mean, I'm older now too, and starting to have some hearing issues as well. It doesn't take much to fool us, you know, into thinking that might be, especially if it's a bad connection on a phone or something. So yeah, I mean, these things are very, very possible. And your wife did the right thing. You just hang up on them. If it's important, they'll probably call back, you know, and there's probably other ways nowadays to find out.
Well, you want to call back and call their parents.
Yeah, there's other ways to verify. Yeah. You can just simply call them.
Yeah.
Get their phone number, call your grandson or your granddaughter. Yeah. So we'll talk more about this after the break, everybody.
If you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology. The Tech Ranch.
Supertalk 1270.
This is Outdoor Issues with Neil Roberts and North Dakota Game and Fish Outreach Biologist Greg Gullickson. The deer gun season has come and gone, but some discussions continue. Greg, let's talk whitetail versus mule deer today. If one has an option on harvesting one versus the other, what might be a consideration? I've noticed mule deer doe coming in seem to be a little bit bigger. Is that fair to say or not necessarily?
Mule deer seems like even body size or antler size, and maybe the mule deer bucks don't have as many points as the whitetail, but you know what, Neil? The bottom line is venison, and all of it tastes good. When you get that good 50-50 grind and make it into deer sausage, and if you've never had the chance to make your own deer sausage, I certainly encourage you to do that. Talk to a friend, talk to a neighbor.
All right, good stuff, Greg. Hey, we'll talk more about that meat when we come back.
Hey, poker players, get ready for a big payout tournament. It's the North Dakota Texas Hold'em Championship, an estimated $20,000 first prize. It all takes place at the Sleep Inn and Suites in Minot, starting December 26th with a free roll. Sponsored by X Golf and the Blue Rider. Qualifying rounds are on December 27th and 28th, with the championship on December 29th. A $100 registration gets you a 20,000 chip starting stack. It's the North Dakota Texas Hold'em Championship at the Sleep Inn and Suites in Minot. Don't miss it. Gaming sponsored by the Aggie Foundation.
Have you watched the news lately? It's scary out there. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. Check out comedian Joe Coy live December 20th at 8 p.m. at Four Bears Casino and Lodge Event Center. As one of today's premier stand-up comedians, Joe Coy has sold out arenas around the country, dominated the Billboard comedy album charts, and starred in the Universal picture film Easter Sunday. Get your Joe Coy tickets at fourbearscasino.com. That's the number 4, bearscasino.com.
Talking whitetail versus mule deer today on Outdoor Issues. And Greg, you touched on it before the break, and some people will claim the stake that mule deer tastes different than whitetail. What's your take on that? I know venison's venison. Is there a slight difference, you think?
There probably is. Mule deer tend to taste a little bit different than whitetail, but the main thing is preparation and meat care. Like Neil and I talked when we were off air. You wouldn't drive around with a T-bone in the box of your pickup for a day.
And the point we made before going on air too is, as you would a beef, right? A calf or a 2-year-old, there's a reason why a lot of those get harvested versus the 12-year-old cow or bull, right? The younger tastes better.
I would agree, and talk to your local butcher shop, and they'll be able to help you out a lot.
All right, Greg Fay, thanks for that. And that brings this report to a close. Until next time, I'm Neil Roberts.
You've been listening to Outdoor Issues, brought to you in part by the North Dakota State Texas Hold'em Championship, by Four Bears Casino and Lodge near Newtown, North Dakota, and by Minot's best new burger, Rocky's Burgers, Franks, and Fries.
This is the Pet Minute. I'm Steve Dale. Ethologist Dr. Mark Beckoff's latest book is called Dogs Demystified, an A to Z guide to all things canine. Next. Your dog loves going to the dog park and seeing his buddies. Maybe sometimes when you travel, he gets to hang out with friends at his favorite boarding facility. Social dogs like yours need more protection than most. By pairing Bordetella Protection, also known as kennel cough, with immunity against canine influenza, we can help ensure these dogs stay healthy. Merck Animal Health wants you to talk with your veterinarian about pairing up for protection with vaccines for your dog for kennel cough and the canine influenza virus. Don't wait. Vaccinate. Dr. Mark Beckoff may be the most prolific and important dog book author. His latest covers canines from A to Z, from abnormal behavior to zoothanasia, a term I hadn't heard before. In between, all sorts of information. Why dogs bump noses, lift their eyebrows, or do dogs really get jealous? Answers might surprise. For the Pet Minute, I'm Steve Dale.
Imagine only charging your phone once a month. Wouldn't that be something?
That would be.
You know, so you're not at, I mean, to me, the ritual when I go to bed every night is my watch comes off my wrist, goes on the charger, and I plug in my cell phone.
Yep.
You know, and I know a lot of people have the wireless ones. I haven't been a fan of, I mean, I use the wireless for my watch. I don't have a wireless charger on my bedstand for my phone. I don't know why that is actually, but
I used to, but I gave it up.
I think I did too, actually.
You know, it just, I would find that there were times that it wasn't charged, and it was like,
you know what? You're right, because if it's not sitting on there just right, then it won't charge properly. You're right, and that at least with the plug-in, you know, you can see on there that it's charging and ready to go. So I think that's probably why I didn't do it too. So, I know a lot of people do that, but anyway, that ability to charge your phone once a month, and maybe the watch that I'm wearing, I mean, maybe this is a once every 3 month type of scenario. I mean, that would be absolutely incredible. And it changes everything, so I think it's really interesting that these things are coming out. And the other thing is if you're okay, maybe there's a nice, type of scenario here where the battery size, like in your phone, is only 1/4 the size that's required right now.
Sure.
Okay. So maybe you only charge it once a week instead of once a month. They'll probably figure out what's that great point, because with less battery in your phone, because the battery is probably one of the most significant things in your phone. So what's possible in your phone that they can't do now because they can't fit it in there, right? I mean, I think this really expands the possibilities. And the same might be true as I'm thinking about electric cars. If the battery doesn't weigh as much and you get but it's the same power, right? So if it's 1/10 the size, but it has the same storage of the battery that's in there now, you will still go further because the weight of the battery is so significant in these cars. So it's really interesting, I think.
Yeah. Have you noticed any kind of data on what the recharge time is for these batteries? Because to me, that's the bigger issue.
Yes. So great question. And my guess is that it's probably going to be a little longer, but because you're putting more energy into them. But it might be, and I'm looking here right now, I guess, and I'm not seeing that. I'm just reading through this thing real quick. But like high capacitors can hold energy as well, and they've been working on using high capacitors for battery storage as well. And those things, I mean, if you have a high cap in your phone, for example, it charges in like 15 seconds. But it also doesn't hold a charge as long, so you can charge it up quickly, but it also doesn't hold the charge as long. So I'm sure there's some give and take, but my phone right now, I mean, if I plug it in at night, I mean, I woke up this morning and at 2:00 or whatever, and I looked at my phone real quick, like the idiot that I am, and because you should never really do that, because then I get answering emails and everything else at 2:00 in the morning. That's a really stupid thing to do. But it was already 100% charged. So, I mean, if it charged in a 6 to 8 hour cycle, just sleeping overnight, and then you got, a week's worth of use out of it, I would be okay with that.
Yep. As long as you can plan for it.
Yes.
Because to me, that's the biggest detriment to an EV right now for myself is I can go to the gas station with my truck and be full in 5 minutes, but I don't necessarily have the time to charge the EV that I'm going to be driving.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't?
I haven't told you my story about sitting in LA overnight trying to get my car charged. So yeah, it actually happened to me. So it's the charging scenario on cars is significant because we don't have the infrastructure in many places for it yet, including the places that should.
KLXX AM, Mandan, Bismarck, a town square media station, broadcasting from the View Community Credit Union Studio.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. The Syrian government of Bashar al-Assad could be on the verge of collapse. Insurgents stunning march across the country, gaining speed today with news that they had reached the suburbs of the capital. ABC News correspondent Lama Hassan has more from London.
Following reports that the president had fled the country, his office issuing a statement saying that those reports are false, saying he is in Damascus and that he is following up on his work and national and constitutional duties from the capital.
New developments today in the investigation into the murder of the United Healthcare CEO in Manhattan. The NYPD is searching a pond in Central Park for possible evidence After what is thought to be the suspect's backpack found nearby Friday, police have not yet recovered the distinctive gun used in the shooting. The judge in the New York subway chokehold trial dismissing the most serious charge in the case as the jury says it's deadlocked. Deliberations on a lesser charge resume on Monday. This is ABC News. Cases of a mysterious disease surging in Africa.
The World Health Organization sending a team of experts to Congo to monitor the mysterious illness labeled Disease X that has killed at least 79 people and sickened nearly 380 others in just over a month. Many of those sickened by the undiagnosed disease are children under the age of 5. Symptoms include fever, headache, coughing, difficulty breathing, and anemia. The WHO is waiting on pending lab tests to learn more. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
A motion to impeach South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol fell through after most lawmakers from his party boycotted the vote. It came after a short-lived imposition of martial law. The move threw his country in political chaos. In a televised address, Yoon apologized and said his actions stem from the urgency he felt as president, but caused anxiety and inconvenience to the public. Dave Packer, ABC News.
This is Rocky Moselle with International Star Registry. Over the past 45 years, we have named millions of stars for celebrities, dignitaries, and individuals worldwide. For $59 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit starregistry.com, you can name a star and give the ultimate Christmas gift. The star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Visit starregistry.com or call 800-282-3333 to give the brightest gift. That's 800-282-3333.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Supertalk 1270, Bismarck area weather.
With your forecast, I'm Corey Hartman. For today, mostly sunny, a little breezy, highs in the upper 40s. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 27. Cloudy skies with rain likely around midday Sunday. We'll have a high around 44. Chance of rain and snow Sunday night with a low near 22, and it will be quite windy. For the best barbecue sauce around, try Grandpa's original secret recipe, grandpa'sbbqshop.com.
It's 48 at our studios.
From ABC Sports, I'm Joey Waller. Right now, college football championship Saturday, fourth quarter scores, Big 12 in Arlington, Arizona State a 45-19 bulge against Iowa State. Cam Scatterbo, well over 100 yards rushing and 2 touchdown runs. Mid-American final in Detroit, Ohio with a 38-3 laugher in the midst against Miami of Ohio. ESPN says Oklahoma State football coach Mike Gundy has a restructured contract. Reported baseball free agent signings, Shane Bieber stays a Guardian, 1 year, $14 million. Fellow pitcher Clay Holmes joins the Mets from the Yankees, 3 years and $38 million. NBA fourth quarter, Cavs a 102-95 lead at Charlotte. NHL, Rangers trade their captain, defenseman Jacob Trouba to the Ducks for a package including defenseman Euro Vakanainen. With his wife completing a medical residency in New York, Trouba's desire to remain there for now, limiting his trade destinations and becoming public.
I had a choice to make between my career and my family, and I chose my family. I'll make that same decision 1,000 times over. It's unfortunate how it all unfolded and became public and got a little bit messy.
Meanwhile, ESPN says the Rangers' Igor Shesterkin has an 8-year, $92 million extension, the richest goalie deal ever. Third period as we speak. Flyers a 3-1 lead at Boston. Utah 3-1 at Buffalo. NFL tomorrow, 6-6 Falcons visit 10-2 Minnesota, winners of 5 straight. Ex-Viking Kirk Cousins now quarterbacking Atlanta.
Certainly some unique experiences there, but at the end of the day, you're there to go play a football game and go play your best and win, and that's where your focus is ultimately.
College basketball in progress, second half. Marquette with a 70-55 lead on Wisconsin. Virginia Tech in front of Pitt, 40-36. And North Carolina with a 31-30 edge against Georgia Tech. Joey Waller, ABC Sports.
All holidays are upon us, and you know what that means. It's a crazy, stressful time of year. That's why I want to tell you about Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers with 7 proven forms of magnesium to target every system in your body. Don't let stress and burnout ruin your holidays. Get Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers and give your body the magnesium it craves. It's the perfect gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. For an exclusive offer, go to bioptimizers.com/radio and use promo code radio during checkout to save 10% and transform your health. That's bioptimizers.com/.
Offer not valid in all states or prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details. Bills piling up? Rent due? Just need some extra cash to get by? Then you need to go to GetCash.com, where you can get approved for a loan of up to $10,000 in minutes. No need to search through endless loan sites. GetCash.com is one of the largest lender networks. They can help anyone get up to $10,000 regardless of their credit score. Best part? The money can be in your bank account as soon as the next day. When you need fast cash help, go to GetCash.com. That's GetCash.com.
News, talk, and sports for Bismarck, Mandan. Super Talk 1270.
Portions of the following program are pre-recorded.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch, where we explore the world of living with technology. Get ready to take a deep dive into the latest gadgets, apps, and innovations with your hosts, the Guru of Geek, Marlo Anderson, and his trusty co-host, Steve Bakken. Join us on this exciting journey, and don't forget to visit thetechranch.com for even more exclusive content. Now, without further ado, let's welcome Marlo and Steve to the Tech Ranch.
And Nick Ressler is in the house. We were just talking about AI and, well, I guess somehow or another we got from AI to scams, but they kind of blended together because of that AI voice modulation and things. So again,
it'd be a lot more.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, just make sure that in your family you create a safe word so that if you have an AI that's talking to you that might sound like your wife or your husband or your kids or your grandkids or whatever. Just have a safe word that nobody else would know. You know, make sure that they don't share that safe word, and that way you can thwart these scammers when they call you. Now, when we were talking about this, Nick, it brought up another thing, in your mind. So, what is it that you've been seeing on like Facebook Reels?
On Facebook Reels, as you're paging through it, watching different videos, you'll get shortcuts on Windows that you probably didn't know. That's the intro.
Right. So you hit like your Alt, Control, and the F key.
Now, this will speed up your computer 10 times faster. Hold down the Windows key and hit F. And in the box, type in msconfig.
Okay.
And then it'll tell you through that.
Yep.
And there's just a ton of them. And, a couple of them I go, oh, yeah, geez, that's pretty good. And I've done them, and they work.
Okay.
And I don't know, if it's making the computer any faster. A lot of things has to do with security. I can't believe how much data Microsoft, if you don't check the boxes, turn them off, that they're collecting.
Right.
And so Google too. And that's all in there. But there should be a place, I'm going to try to find it, where it would list all of them. Because when you're watching the video, it's really hard. They go by it so fast what to type in.
Well, they do that for a reason. So you have to rewind and watch it again.
Oh, yeah.
They get paid for views.
Yeah.
And you have to remember that.
Yeah.
So they're creating these things. And you're like, oh, I can make my computer faster by doing this. Well, then they run through it so quickly that you actually have to, it's like, it's the same thing with shampoo, lather, rinse, and repeat.
Yeah.
That's what this is. This is the same marketing right here. They have a list of these shortcuts and they make videos from them, but they run through them quick enough that they're like, oh my goodness, that's a really good tip. I need to watch it again and again to get this. And that's what it's about. But it's generally good information, right? I mean, that's what you've found so far.
So, yeah. I mean, it hasn't harmed anything.
Right.
It seems to me that it's speeded up my PC.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So, obviously you're watching some Facebook Reels. Is there anything in particular other than computer hacks?
I like the ones with, there's a construction worker.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
No.
He's got a hard hat on. He's got really big eyes. And he goes he'll look over and go, oh, and then they'll show a guy running a wheelbarrow and he hits something and he flips over. or he's walking on a beam and it crashes in.
Yep.
And then also the accidents and the police chases. Those are the ones I really like.
The wheelbarrow one just reminded me of a thing. I host another show that I don't think you even know called The Absurdists. And it's just like it sounds. And you need to be on this show with me sometime. It's so funny. Well, we did one on warning labels. And the wheelbarrow some wheelbarrows have a warning label on them that it's not intended for highway use. And we're like, how in the world did this happen? Did somebody put a trailer hitch on one and decided they're going to roll around with that? Did somebody roll down a hill with this thing? And can you imagine going down the interstate at 75 miles an hour and here's a wheelbarrow rolling down with you? And
there was one, this guy was following a motorcycle.
Okay. Not in a wheelbarrow.
Not in a wheelbarrow.
Okay.
And the motorcycle was clocking at about 130. And then this happened. A motorcycle passed him.
Oh, my goodness.
And left him in the dust. Whoa! And what? How fast was he going?
Crazy.
Oh, my goodness.
We were in, this is what happens, by the way, everybody, when Nick and I haven't talked for a while. We're just catching up here. I hope that's okay. Alice and I were over in London and Paris here a few weeks ago, and we took the train from London to Paris underneath the English Channel, the Channel. And, when did they do that? 25 or 30 years ago that they drilled that thing out. And I've always wanted to do this. And I didn't realize that you could take high-speed rail, to Paris, through the Channel. Now, it does slow down to 60 to 70 miles an hour as you're going through the Channel, which is about 20 miles or so. But when you emerge on the other side within a minute or so, you're doing 200 miles an hour.
200 on rail?
300. The train is capable of 350 kilometers an hour. You do the math, and it's over 200 miles an hour. I did one time we were doing 217. Isn't that crazy?
That's nuts.
It's crazy. And what's crazier is when you meet the train going the other way, because they're both about 15 cars long. If you meet a vehicle or anything going 200 miles an hour and you're doing 200 miles an hour, you better not even be blinking your eye because it's gone again. It's just like, oh, and you're like, what the heck was that? And it's like trains are. They're only this far apart. I mean, you could reach out with your arm and touch the other one. That's insane.
That is insane.
So anyway, but amazing that you can travel by train from London to Paris in about 2 hours. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's easier than going on a plane and going over, So anyway, just the story about speed, since you brought one up, I have to figure out a way to top your stories, So, all right. The other scam one was the whistle story.
Oh,
you only got a minute and a half. So, okay. All right. So tell the whistle story.
To start with, Alice had this idea that when we get a call and somebody calls, we're going to tell them we work in a whistle factory. And we gathered several different whistles, a train whistle, a police whistle, I think a boat whistle.
Yep.
And and she come back, she says, okay, I got one online. And I picked it up and I says, hello. And he says, yeah, can I help you? He says, I'm going to fix your computer. You got a virus. And I says, okay, I'll have you help me. But you got to understand, I work in a whistle factory.
Because you're whistle inspector at the 14 or whatever, right?
I got to stop and inspect these whistles. And the guy didn't really say anything about it, and he started, now, okay, press F1. And then he started, I said, okay, I did. Oh, whoa. He said, what? And I said, I got to test this whistle. And I put the whistle right up there and I blew it. and he never fazed the guy. He didn't, you think he'd have caught on. And this went on for maybe 4 or 5 minutes and I blew several whistles. And then I said to him, which whistle do you like? And he said, the second one. And I said, well, give me your address and I'll send you one of them. No, he says, you don't need to do that. I said, no, I want to do that. You're helping me fix my computer.
Anyway. And finish the story after the break, everybody.
And we're back with the Tech Ranch. Get ready for more amazing tech insights from the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we're back. Nick Ressler is re-sharing his story about the whistle factory. So go ahead.
Sounds like that's all we did around here was
well, you know,
some scammers.
We did a lot of that at the time. You know, this was the scenario, everybody. I mean, because Nick was on the Tech Ranch so much, we figured that we would try to learn about these scams when they happen so that we could share them. But some hilarity ensued because of it too. And this whistle factory scenario was hilarious. And I know you had stated 4 or 5 minutes or whatever, but the goal was always to how long we could keep them on. Yeah. And that particular one, because we set it up, it was recorded. And I think Scott Wild was here too, right?
Scott.
Yeah, and he was helping recording. I was laughing so hard, Nick, I had to leave the room because I was afraid I was going to tip off the scammer, you know. But I remember, and you said you still have this on video, right?
Yeah.
So we'll find that and repost it again, everybody, on social media in the next day or two so you can see this. But I remember how passionate you were about how excited you were about having this person on the phone because, oh my goodness, this computer has been acting up forever. I'm so glad that you, Microsoft, have called to help me fix this thing. But every time there was an opportunity to share a credit card number or whatever, there was a whistle that had to be tested. It was so funny. And then that rail whistle was the best.
And the crazy part is that the guy, it didn't faze him. You know, he
kept going. Yeah.
I mean, just like he had one mission was to fix my computer, and he just kept going. And I'd tell him, okay, I did that, and it didn't work. Well, try this, try this. And finally, at the very end, he said,
well, he did ask for a credit card number on occasion too. Yes.
And I said, I don't want to do that. And he says, well, I at this point, I got to escalate you up to the higher. So I'm going to give you one of my higher level tips or something. He says, okay. And he'll call me. Yeah, he'll call you in a little while. And he never did call back. But I've got another one with email.
Okay.
I had a client that she had changed her internet service. And the other one, her email changed. So she wanted it set up. And I went up and piece of cake, put it in. And with that, her email, her internet client, for some reason, didn't work. So I said, I'll just Google it. And I Googled it, and it told me what to do, and I followed it, and it still didn't work. So I said, I'm going to call him. And she said, no, you don't want to call him. I said, why? She said, I spent an hour with them, and they don't talk English, and I don't understand them. I said, no, put them on speakerphone. I'll call them. So we call them, and this guy answers, and you could tell, he's foreign. And I'll try to imitate him a little bit. He says, hello, how may I help you? And I told him the problem. He says, oh, yes, we can help you. And I said, by the way, this is Nick Ressler. And he said, yes, Mike. And I said, no, it's Nick. And he goes, okay, Nick, here's what you do. And I did it. And I said, that didn't work. He says, Mike, can I put you on hold? I told you my name was Nick. Yeah, Mike. I said, fine, put me on hold. So he puts me on hold. He comes back. Try this. I tried it. It didn't work. He says, can I put you on hold, Mike? And I decided after that, I'm Mike. Go ahead, put me on hold. So he puts me on hold. He comes back, try this. And I tried it. It didn't work. And he says, can I put you on hold, Mike? I says, when you put me on hold, what are you doing? I'm talking to the highly trained technician. And I said, why don't you let me talk to the highly trained technician? Oh, no, I can't let you talk to the highly trained technician. And I said, fine. And I hung up. I said, get a Google email.
There was this, oh my goodness, this English TV show. I think you put me onto it. What the heck is the name of it?
IT.
Yes.
IT.
And those two crazy guys who worked in the basement, right? Remember the
thing when you called them, did you turn it off?
Yes, They actually had it recorded on this, like old reel-to-reel thing, so people would just play that thing.
But how many times have we done?
Oh my goodness! And we got stories we could tell you about that. But remember the episode with the robot? And they decided to take off work for the afternoon because there were so many shenanigans going on, and they go out and they ride the bus and they come back to work, and the one really geeky guy with the glasses and the hair looks, oh, there's a cute robot. He goes up there and it's defusing a bomb. and then the rest of them are way like a block away, and there's an officer trying to control the bomb or the robot that's not working. And they're like, well, we could probably help you. You know, what operating system is it? Windows Vista. We're all gonna die.
I remember that. That was a good program.
That was a good program.
That was a good series.
Yeah, I should watch that again. It's really funny if you're kind of geeky in that regard. Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, so back to whatever. I think we were talking about AI.
Yeah.
So how, other than scams, I mean, do you have other uses that you're using AI for?
Not at the present, but
so you haven't started talking to like ChatGPT or anything yet?
No.
Have you tried the new one?
No.
Oh, this is crazy. I'll just share it with you real quick here, since I have it open and ready to go, kind of. Hello, ChatGPT. I'm sitting here with Nick Ressler. We're on the Tech Ranch. Not getting the new one here, unfortunately.
So, is that a paid one?
Yeah, I think I pay the.
I think that's the pro version.
Yeah. Yep. Oh yeah. Start a new chat to use the advanced. Okay, so I'm going to start a new chat here. I see what's going on. Let's see. There we go. See if we get the new version here. Here we go. Hello, ChatGPT. I'm sitting with Nick Ressler, and we're on the air on the Tech Ranch. You want to say hi to Nick?
Hey there, Nick. It's great to be on the Tech Ranch with you. What's the hot topic today?
Chat.
We're talking about you, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite the honor. I'm ready to answer any questions you've got. What would you like to know?
So how Nick and I are both, approaching that senior age. Can you give us maybe some tips on how senior or seasoned citizens can use you?
Absolutely. Here are some ways senior or seasoned citizens can make the most of ChatGPT. First, staying connected. I can help draft emails.
ChatGPT, I have to bother you or interrupt you because we're at the end of the break. We'll be back in just a minute, everybody.
You've returned to the Tech Ranch, where technology is our passion. Let's jump back into the conversation with Marlo and Steve.
And we're back, everybody. Yes, that's ChatGPT talking to Nick and I. ChatGPT, you've been helping us over the break. What were you just talking to Nick about?
Everyone, welcome back. Nick and I were just discussing differences between the pro version and the regular one of a product or service. It's always good to know what extra features or benefits you might get.
So we're actually referring to you, ChatGPT. What's the difference between a paid version and the free version? For example, do I get this as I'm talking to you? Would somebody else get this same feature if they had a free version?
With the paid version, you typically get more features and benefits compared to the free version. For instance, with the paid version, you might experience 1. Faster response times, less waiting for replies. 2. Priority access, access to new features or updates before others. 3. Advanced features, like this voice conversation feature. In the free version, some features might be limited or unavailable. So, if you're enjoying this conversation, it's part of...
So ChatGPT, Nick is kind of a jokester, and he's told me a few Ole and Lena jokes in the past. Can you tell me an Ole and Lena joke in a Scandinavian accent?
Here's one for you. So Ole and Lena were driving to town when they saw a sign that said, "Clean mess rooms." After 5 hours, Ole says, "Lena, I think we cleaned enough restrooms. Maybe we should find that store now, yeah?"
Thanks, ChatGPT. Nick, you got any questions for ChatGPT?
What's the cost difference?
The cost difference between the free and paid versions can vary depending on the plan or subscription. Usually, the paid version might be a monthly or yearly subscription, offering different tiers with various features. For exact pricing, it's best to check the provider's website for the most up-to-date information.
So I pay $20 a month for this version over the free version for ChatGPT. So
what's the difference between you and Microsoft's
Copilot?
Great question, Nick. The key differences between me, ChatGPT, and Microsoft's Copilot are purpose and integration. Copilot is integrated into Microsoft 365, helping with tasks like writing emails, creating presentations, or analyzing data within that ecosystem. ChatGPT is a more general AI that can handle a wide range of questions and tasks across various topics. 2. Functionality. Copilot is designed to work seamlessly within Microsoft 365 apps, offering suggestions and assistance tailored to those specific tools. ChatGPT is more of a conversational AI, helping with diverse queries, creative writing, and general knowledge. 3. Contextual understanding. Both are good at understanding context, but Copilot is optimized for business and productivity tasks, while ChatGPT is more versatile in everyday conversation. So it depends on what you're looking to do.
All right. Any other questions for ChatGPT, Nick? All right. Thanks, ChatGPT. We're going to sign off now with you.
You're welcome, Marlo and Nick. It's been great chatting with you both. Feel free to reach out anytime. Take care.
Wonder how long before Google comes out with something like that.
So Google has Gemini. So if you go to gemini.google.com, if you have a Google account already, a Gmail account like most people do, you can actually just go to gemini.google.com and utilize it. Although you will find significant differences in those AIs as well. We were just talking about that in the office this week, and we found that, when we were working on different projects, it's like Gemini forgets things. You start talking about something, and 4 or 5 minutes later, it's forgotten what you originally were talking about, So it's really interesting that way. Getting back, this is really cool, Nick. Bring in ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, we're back on the Tech Ranch with Nick and Marlo here. So, hey, I want to, one of the things we're talking about with retired people is, when you're thinking about what to have for dinner some night or whatever. So I want you to, in my refrigerator, I have some milk, I have some eggs, I have some peppers, I have some cheese, cottage cheese, some bread, and some jalapeno peppers. What can I make with that? And it's thinking. Did you get all that, ChatGPT? I'm not sure if it's actually responding right now. So generally speaking, it would give me some ideas. Like I would be able to make an omelet, and then it would actually tell me how to make the omelet. So if you're ever wondering what you can make with what you have in your refrigerator, for example, it will actually give you ideas. I mean, that's just a cool thing. The other thing with it that I've really started to use a lot lately is I will, like right now I've been doing a lot of work around our house, right? And like, the last couple of days I've been working on the seals around our garages, right? Our garage doors. So I'll take a picture of like this broken piece, plastic that's part of the seal. And then I'll ask it, how do I repair this? And it'll look at it and go, oh, this looks like a seal for your garage. And this is the type of part that you need to fix this. And then it'll show you or tell you the steps to repair it. It's crazy.
Oh.
If you don't know what kind of fruit is on a tree, you take a picture, put it in ChatGPT, it'll tell you what it is and when it's ready to eat, or if it's poisonous or not. Or you can take a picture of a snake and the same type of thing. If you're in a situation where you need to, this is life-saving technology, everybody. If you don't know how to do CPR, for example, and you come across somebody who looks like they're on the ground gasping for air and you need to do CPR, it'll tell you exactly what you need to do to administer CPR to somebody. If somebody's choking, how do you do abdominal thrust or the Heimlich maneuver? I mean, these are things that in an instant can help you when you're out there. That's why I don't even have a problem paying the $20 a month, Nick, because it's such a tool to have in your arsenal of things on your phone. And we'll be back.
Welcome back to the Tech Ranch. Let's get back to discovering the latest in technology with the guru of geek, Marlo Anderson.
And we are back with the Tech Ranch, Nick Ressler. And we've had quite the conversation today, Nick. So it's been more fun with you than Steve. Steve and I think sometimes we hang out too much and we don't know what to talk about anymore. So this has been great. You're in a chili cook-off or something?
No, I just like chili.
Oh, well, okay. So we were just talking, of course, ChatGPT. So you have me curious here now. So I'm going to, hey, ChatGPT, Nick is looking to enter a chili cook-off. And he has a standard recipe that he likes to use. What kind of extra ingredients do you think might be really interesting for him to add in this chili cook-off so he can win it?
Awesome, Nick. Adding a unique twist to your chili could give you an edge. Here are some interesting ingredients to consider. 1. Dark chocolate or cocoa powder. Adds depth and richness to the chili. Coffee or espresso. Enhances the umami flavor and adds a subtle complexity. Smoked paprika or chipotle peppers. Brings a smoky flavor and a bit of heat. Bourbon or beer. Adds depth and a unique flavor profile. Unusual meats, like venison or bison, for a gamey taste. Trying out one or a combination of these could make your chili.
Thanks, ChatGPT. So there you go. The coffee thing. And what I love about that, right, is it tells you how it's going to bring out or enhance the flavors of what's in there already, right?
Yeah.
So,
and the two things I can't have.
Yeah, chocolate and coffee.
Way to go, Chat.
But there you go. I mean, it's interesting.
Should chili have beans in it?
You want me to ask ChatGPT this? All right.
Most people say no.
All right, here we go.
Chili does not have beans in it.
Waiting on Chat. All right, ChatGPT. Nick has a question for you.
Should chili have beans in it?
Some chili purists argue that traditional chili shouldn't have beans, focusing more on the meat and spices. However, beans are a common ingredient in many chili recipes, especially in certain regions. If you like beans in your chili, go ahead and...
Go ahead, Nick.
What type of beans should you add?
For a chili cook-off, you might want to consider using these types of beans. 1. Kidney beans. A classic choice, They hold their shape well and absorb flavors. 2. Black beans. They add a different texture and a bit of earthiness. 3. Pinto beans. Creamy and flavorful, they're a staple in many chili recipes. 4. Cannellini beans, also known as white kidney beans. They offer a mild flavor and a smooth texture. Mixing a
All right, there we go. I guess we're just sharing this with you. No, we're not a cooking show right now. We are a technology show, but we're giving you examples of what you can use ChatGPT for or other AIs. I know this is what I have on my phone, but you can use Gemini or whatever on yours. And we were talking about over the break too, taking pictures of things, right? So you don't know. I'm just using this as an example. You're fixing something. You don't know how to fix a screen on a window, for example, right? You can take a picture of it, let ChatGPT look at it and say, hey, that's a screen. It looks like you have a hole in it. What would you like me to do with this information? And then you'll say, well, I'm looking to fix this. And it'll give you options on how you can go about fixing that screen. So you don't know what kind of grass you have in your yard and you're going to buy grass seed. Take a picture of the grass and it'll tell you. Don't know if the berries that are growing on the ornamental bush in your yard of your brand new house, if you can eat them or not, it'll tell you this. Take a picture and it'll identify the fruit that's on there. So these are things that I think you can use in everyday life. So
wild.
Yeah. It goes on and on and on. I'm telling you right now, Nick, I have probably tripled my production at work here in 2 years because of AI. I mean, I don't even think anything about having to write a contract anymore. I mean, I don't even stress over it. I mean, it's like, back in the day I had to write an NDA for something or an agreement on something or get an attorney involved. Those minor things, not that attorneys want to hear this, but I think most of them would rather do big work anyway. You can just have ChatGPT do these day-to-day things that you want. You're buying a house. We were talking about this last week or maybe this week with Steve and I. You can scan take pictures of the documents or if it's the PDF that you're sending over to you to buy a house, for example, and you can say, hey, pretend that you are me buying this house. What is in this contract that I need to be concerned about? And boom, 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 here you go.
Wow.
Here's some things. Here's, the warranty on this car that you're buying. It says 50,000 miles on everything, but not on the ignition system. It's only 12,000 on that. So these are the things that it'll bring out to you that you'd never catch in 50 pages of legal documents. So this is why I think this is so good for people.
I use the phone a lot for photos.
Okay.
Working on something, take a picture of it. Especially like if you're taking something apart.
Yes.
You will put it back together.
Yeah.
Take pictures of it.
Do you use it like a magnifying glass sometimes too? Have you done this?
Oh, yeah.
This is a real easy trick, everybody.
Yeah, serial numbers.
Yep. Yep. Can't really see them.
Yep.
So then, and if they're wore off, have you done this too, where you can't, like some of the numbers are rubbed off a little bit or something, and you start playing with the filters on the phone, right? So the serial number at the very end, especially on those paper ones, they kind of get rubbed off a little bit. If you put a contrast filter on or something, all of a sudden those numbers come off the paper.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's another thing. What else in the photos area? We got a minute left. So.
Oh, you just, different things that mostly, if I'm working on something.
Okay.
If I'm going to go to the hardware store and get a certain screw, take a picture of it, or my son's coming over from Bismarck.
Yep.
Hey, stop at Menards and get me a box of these.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
He's got the exact picture and everything. Walks in, I want a box of these,
There are so many shortcuts, right?
Oh, yeah.
That just makes your life so much easier. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Nick, it's been great.
Good.
You and I haven't had a conversation for 2 hours in a long time.
Yeah.
It's good that we were able to use the radio time for that, I guess. So,
yeah.
If you have any questions, anybody, just hop onto the techranch.com and send us your questions, and we'll try to answer them on the air. Nick, we're going to try to get that video up on the Tech Ranch's website too. Okay, and be looking for that, everybody. And until next time, Nick, it's been a pleasure. Stay safe, everybody. Stay away from those scams, too.
And that's a wrap on another fantastic episode of the Tech Ranch. Remember, if you have any questions or want to suggest topics for future shows, visit thetechranch.com and send us your thoughts. You can also listen to past episodes and watch exclusive interviews not featured on the radio show. Be sure to follow Marlo and Steve on social media by clicking the links at thetechranch.com. Until next time, keep exploring the world of living with technology.